do, folks? How you doing? Just a quick one. I just thought I'd better put something in, because I talk on these videos and folks are at totally different levels. So I thought I'd just cover this quickly for those right at the bottom end of the level. I do not answer questions. It's the most powerful response you can give to anybody for anything, because it's final. I do not answer questions. Now, here's the thing. People say no comment. Don't ever say no comment. I do not answer questions. The only other thing, if you don't know anything, the only other thing you should ever say is I do not consent. But certain circumstances, it isn't a blanket thing. If you get pulled over in your motor and you say I don't answer questions, I do not consent, and you have no other knowledge whatsoever, you're going to get your windows smashed, you're going to get dragged out of your motor, and you're going to get took to the police station. That is absolute. Whether they can, can't, should or shouldn't is immaterial. That is what is going to happen. So don't try it if you don't know anything while you're in your motor. But if you're not in your motor and you get asked your name, your details or anything for these COVID things, I do not answer questions. And you just walk away. I do not answer questions. It is as simple as that. I do not answer questions. Now, police is going to try, and he's going to, am I being detained? Under what law? There's loads of videos that show you that sort of speech. You can watch a multitude of these auditors auditing the police, showing you how to not give joinder and how to not give your name. That is a really easy thing. If you're not in your motor, it is plain and simple. Even if the police knocked on your door and asked you your name, you're under no obligation whatsoever to give that name. None whatsoever. They cannot force you to give your name. They've come to you. You haven't come to them. You require their services? Nope. They require your consent? Yes. They require your interaction. They require your legal joinder, which is you giving your name. So at the point the police say to you, what's your name? I don't answer questions. Why is that? I don't answer questions. And if you're going down that route, be sure you don't answer questions, because I see a lot of folks go, I don't answer questions, and then they go, why is that? Oh, that's because you just answered a question. So what you show in the law is you won't answer some questions, but you'll answer others. And as far as the law's concerned, you're being belligerent. You're hiding something, aren't you? You're acting suspicious, and you're giving them the opportunity to play the games. I do not answer questions isn't suspicious. I don't answer questions, it's a fact. I don't answer fucking questions. So what's this? I don't answer questions. Why are you here? I don't answer questions. Who are you? I don't answer questions. Where do you live? Where do you come from? Blah, 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 blah. I don't answer questions. And eventually he walks away. And it's absolute fact. You can say nothing more than I do not answer questions if the police approach you. That's plain and simple, as long as you haven't committed a crime. And a crime is harm, injury and loss. Now, that's a fact, and that isn't a, is it going to work, isn't it going to work? It's going to be, have you got the balls? No matter what he says, I still don't answer fucking questions. And that's what it all comes down to. It comes down to your confidence. And if you haven't got the confidence, then you're not ready. You shouldn't play these games. It's as simple as that. You need to learn some things, and just getting templates and such like is something I'm getting asked for more and more and more lately. And I absolutely will not get drawn back into what gave me my heart attacks, which is dealing with these little claims. I don't deal with little claims, and I don't mean that to sound degrading to folks that feel that these claims are the be-all and end-all of their life. But in the scheme of what's going on and the scheme of the work I do, these are tiny little claims. With a bit of knowledge, you can overcome every single one of them. And now it's all down to, do you want that knowledge? The knowledge is there to learn. I've said it on multiple of my videos, and I still get people saying, well, how do you do that then? And somebody with that attitude isn't even interested in learning. And I know it sounds like a valid question, But when you get thrown that question at you, how do you do that then? You can see the intent behind it. It's somebody with that, how do I do that then? You ain't got no intentions, because otherwise, where do I start? You'd be looking for information, you'd be looking for how this goes on. How do you learn to stand as the living man? Like I've said many times, I can't download what I've got in my head to you. And I can't deal with everybody's claims anymore. There are just way too many. Everybody in the fucking world is wrapped up with these little debt claims. And as I saw before, and I showed before, being the only man who seems to be able to fucking fix any of these shit, it gets you too busy to live. Your entire life you're dealing with constant, I've got this problem, can you help me, can you help me, can you help me? I can't. And also, another side of things I need to say to people, I don't go for money for you. I'm not out for that. I don't care for that. Hold on a second, let me just reject this call. I'm not out for money, dangling percentages and offers of what I'll get if I do this. It has no interest in anything to me at all. I don't chase the pound. And the reality is, I haven't got the time or the health to get wrapped up in claims. I've got so much going on, and the whole idea of this for me is to teach people how to rebut the claims that come against them, not teach people how to make some money out of it. Sounds harsh, but you know, when you've been doing this for so long and you see everybody else's intent, there's so many folks out there that just want to get away with paying for something, or get away without paying for something, should I say, and or try and get something. And I'm not out there to be anybody's personal solicitor. I don't put myself out there for hire for soliciting. I don't solicit. So yeah, the reality is, folks, I'd love to be able to fix everybody's problems, but I tried over years. I tried, and I had 4 heart attacks in 1 year because I tried so fucking much, and I genuinely can't do that again. What I can do is try and educate folks. Now, there's a shitload of folks that have come forward to me that are genuine, that do ask the right questions, and I am helping the best I can and giving as much time as I can under the circumstances, because there's a lot of them. But if I see you're starting to get it, I will help you. If I see you actually applying yourself, I will help you. But if you're just coming at me, barraging me with questions, thinking I'm going to turn into your personal tutor or personal lawyer, I can't, I'm sorry. There's just not enough time in the day to do that. You think you take an hour or 2 hours of my time, but I have got a shed load of people that are taking an hour or 2 hours of my time every single day. And the more that people realise, and the more now especially, I don't know why all of a sudden my videos are starting to get shared out a little bit more. But that alone is bringing more folks to ask questions, and more folks needing help, and all that does is makes life even harder for me. But I'm trying to do everything I can, but I can't take on your cases. You've got to understand that from me. I cannot take on your cases, and it ain't me being shitty. For starters, it's my health, but secondly is what a very good friend of mine told me right from the start: you can't do that. You just can't do it. It is impossible. There's millions out there under the illusion that these debts have any power or authority over your lives, and there's just me standing there saying I can do that, I can do that. Imagine the onslaught, just imagine it, and I get it every single day. So folks, not being shitty, I really do want to help everybody, but there's only so much a man can do. So what I want you to know is you can learn this shit, you really can. It is not hard once you go down that track, but you've got to get on that track, and you've got to be genuinely searching for answers. If you're the sort of folk, and I've got loads of folk, and so many folks say to me, yeah, I'm trying, but I just don't get it. And then I'm seeing the daily posts on Facebook showing me what they're doing, and one thing they're not doing is studying, and they don't look at it. I'm not getting the right questions, and folks, when I tell them that, they'll just send me questions, Well, that's not what it's about, because now you're just thinking of a question to ask so it looks like you're learning. That's just wasting my time. I know when a question's genuine. I get so many questions, and just the very fact of what I do tells me whether a question's genuine or whether it's just a conversation filler. So folks, be genuine. Don't just come to me when you've got a problem. Try and learn some stuff, and then you know how to deal with your problems. And that is the bottom line. It isn't something I can just download to you. So somebody saying to me, how do I do that? Boom. You got to learn some shit. Simple as that. And if you can't apply yourself to find out how and why and where you learn some shit and the importance of learning some shit, what can I do for you? We've given up our lives through acquiescence. That's an absolute fact. We've not bothered, and we've allowed other people, other entities to handle our affairs. And this has happened through generations, but it's happened to such a degree that most folks out there don't even realise their affairs are being handled for them. They think that they're in total control of their lives. I go to work, I get my money, I go to the shops, I come home, I put the telly on, get pissed, whatever you do, that's your life. Nobody's controlling me, nobody's controlling my life. Yes, they are. The very fact that you don't know somebody's controlling your life tells you somebody's controlling your fucking life. Otherwise, how in a world where slavery is repugnant to the law do you have to do as you're told? Contracts. Assumed, presumed contracts, tacit agreements. Through your acquiescence, because you didn't bother to learn how your life is being controlled. Others are handling your affairs. Looking for shortcuts and looking for answers for an individual debt or bill or some one fucking individual aspect and item of your life isn't the answer. It isn't the answer. You need to learn what is going on. You need to learn that there is a trust relationship, and you need to learn who you are within that trust relationship. As I keep saying, the beneficiary. But I don't just mean it as in saying you're the beneficiary and you're going, right, I know that now. Now I know. Now I've learned. No, you haven't. What is the beneficiary? What does it mean? That's all what you need to learn. You need to learn that there is a trust, what the trust is who within the trust. Everything else is commerce. But that's the fact. The who's and the what's are there. That's it. You're not in a position of liability until you put yourself in a position of liability. That is fact. Learn how you're doing it. Once you learn these few little things, I mean, I know folks out there that have been studying this sort of thing for years and years and years, and they study and they spend time on this shit. Yet they're still refusing to learn that one little bit, just one little thing, one thing. What's really going on? What is really going on? I've said it before. It's trust and commerce. You learn that and learn what the trust is. And I don't care who you are, you're bulletproof as far as the legal system is concerned. Legal, the very definition of it is undoing of God's law. And they'll ask you to swear on a Bible in a court, and you'll believe that's God's law when you know you can't swear on a Bible. You can't swear on God. And everybody sort of knows that, and even the most religious folks will go in there and they'll fucking do it. So it's the undoing of God's law, and the moment you walk in there you start undoing God's law, and it's you every time. It's always you. You get given suggestions, you take them as orders, you follow them out. That's you. You decided. You decide. Just because you presumed that they had authority over you, you decided you had to do this because you believe in words like must and mandatory, which are pretty much the words they use. Look in Black's Law Dictionary at the definitions. You're under no obligation to follow those words. You do not have to perform because somebody says to you must and mandatory. Look at the Black's Law Dictionary. Law Dictionary. Not fucking Collins Gem. If you want to know what they're saying, you need to look in their books, not your books, not the ones they want you to look at. And it's all there, free, online, at the click of your fingers. Most information is. It was the age of information. That's kind of going with censorship now, but this sort of information is all still there. It's only what we're saying and what we're passing amongst each other that's getting censored. And luckily, I get bans every fucking time I open my fucking browser on Facebook. But as far as YouTube, this channel's been left alone so far, but it's all a numbers game. While I've got fuck all people looking, they don't give a shit. But my word's out there and somebody else may pass it on. If I got any momentum, it'll be shut down like the next one. But if you're following me on Monkey World, you'll know where the next YouTube channel will be. And I don't give a shit if they get shut down. Listen to it as it's said. Download it, save it, do whatever you want. I don't give a shit. I've said it, it's out there. If it gets took down later, those that saw it, paid attention, may have took some value out of it. Those that didn't bother or didn't find it or didn't see it, I can't do note about that. I don't need to look back on it myself because I just talk. I don't do this, prepare something and talk about something in particular. If something's on my mind, I'll do a video on it and we'll have a chat. And it is as simple as that. I don't pre-plan videos and I don't write down what I'm going to say on videos. I won't be fake. I won't be fake. Everything comes straight from my heart and straight from my mind. It's my intellectual property that I'm sharing out for your intellectual property. It's now yours if you care to take it on board. That's your business. That's of no obligation of mine to follow up on. I don't even need to know if you're bothering. I know the ones that are because they ask the right questions. And don't please don't everybody just try and think of a question to ask me, because I get so many every day. But if you have got genuine questions, you can ask a genuine question. But if you've got no knowledge at all and you're just going, how can I fix this? I can point you to things that you can find yourself in my group's file sections, or ask if there's anything on it. But do remember, if you take on a template, everybody should know what they're doing. If you take on a template, there's always a response that comes from it, and you must always respond to that. If you take one of my templates on, I'm under no obligations to take on your second stage when they come to you. Templates, look at them, read them, try and learn them and understand them and see how they work. Learn what you're saying to them, and then when they respond to you, you're saying, hold on a minute, there's a matter at hand here, you were served notice on such and such a date, you haven't responded, maybe it was an affidavit of truth, whatever. If it's an affidavit of truth, you haven't responded within the time, and that's your time to rebut is over. Fully accepted truth and judgment at law, for hereby creating estoppel through your acquiescence. Fuck off. And basically that is your attitude. Once somebody's been served an affidavit of truth, the time's gone on, and this is where so many people fuck up. You serve a notice and you serve it under an affidavit of truth, you've got 28 days, or that's, if they don't respond point for point rebutting it, it stands as truth and judgment. So your 28 days are up, and then you get another fucking bill or demand or whatever, and people go, it didn't work. It did. You're just being tested now, and here's your point where you go, you were served that, excuse me, I'm just going to have to get my gate. You were served notice, and just as I've just said to you, you tell them there's a matter at hand. You've responded in honour, you're waiting for them. Their acquiescence now, and their acquiescence has actually ended the situation if it's gone beyond 28 days. They can't go anywhere with it, but it's all dependent on your response, because if you don't respond, or you don't respond correctly, you've acquiesced to the fact that you've already dealt with it, you've allowed them to continue, so now you've accepted contract again. Simple as that. They test you every time, because people want templates, They know damn well people want templates, and they know damn well people are getting templates. You will be tested every time, every single time. You don't just send one piece of paper away and it's over. I mean, there are occasions I've done that, but that's when they've been extremely powerful and they're on a specific point, and I've proved within the document that it isn't a template, and they know damn well it's for real. But as far as your average notices are going, no way in the world are you going to send one and it's over. This is why templates are no good. You must know what you're doing. You must know how to respond. This is why you must learn this shit. And I learned the hard way. You just can't take it all on for folks, because as soon as you take one thing on, you're taking on any response that comes from it, and anything that happens from it, you're taking it on, and you have to deal with everything. So doing one notice for somebody can turn into 3, 4, whatever, and then you've got 20 people, 30 people you're doing it for, and you can imagine the numbers you're doing. So folks, it's time to learn. I can't be the answer anymore to actually writing anybody's notices. I just can't do that. I can help, I can point out to stuff I've already done, but that is about the limits of that. I concentrate on my sovereignty at the minute, and that's another thing. I don't subscribe to the title of sovereign. I am sovereign, but it's not a title. I'm in the private. That's the important words to that. I'm in the private. It's not all about that word, and it's never about titles and names. It's just a fact that I am sovereign, but I'm sitting in the private, and that's how that works. But anyway, I'm gonna have to call it and do one, because I've just pulled up and my dog's come to see me. Hello, baby. So have a good one, folks, and let's chat again sometime. Ta-da.